Now is the time to invite the CEO of HR Metrics, Zahid Mubarik-GDEIB, the true, I would say, man behind this event, the true force who's driving, promoting diversity, equity, inclusion, also HR across not only Pakistan, but also across the globe. Zahid Saab, along with being the CEO of HR Metrics, is also President SHRM Forum Pakistan, SHM Partner Pakistan, founding member ISO Geneva, Technical Committee 260 for Global HR Standards, and former member Pakistan Stock Exchange ESG Task Force. Along with that, he has had the honor of developing over 1,000 professionals in human capital disclosure. Additionally, he has also been awarded as a prestigious Vanguard Award by the Center for Global Inclusion last year, during GDEIB Awards only, and that was a huge surprise for him, so he still remembers that. An honor that has only been bestowed upon 3 professionals across the globe. That is a huge achievement, guys. I think a huge round of applause, please. Along with that, list खत्म नहीं होती ना, मतलब हमें भी अच्छा लगता है हम बोलते जाएं, because ऐसे mentors, ऐसे प्रोफेशनल्स बहुत कम है हमारे पूरे मुल्क में एंड ऑल्सो अक्रॉस द ग्लोब जो एक्चुअली दिल से प्रमोट करते हैं उन तमाम चीज़ों को. सो ही नॉट ओनली इज़ व्हाट ही इज़, बट ही इज़ ऑल्सो अ मेंटोर टू मेनी एस्पायरिंग प्रोफेशनल्स एंड मेनी सर्टिफाइड प्रैक्टिशनर्स लाइक माई सेल्फ. So today I would like to not only give him kudos, but also thankful to him by heart for all that he does to not only promote the aspiring professionals, but like I said, also promote DEI, women empowerment, and HR across the globe. So with a huge round of applause, please welcome Zahid Saab.
Thank you so much, Charlene, for the wonderful start. Generous compliments, which in certain cases I call the exaggerated compliments. Okay, so Honorable Chairman Akif Saeed, Dr. Rishad Hussain, board chairs, board directors, CEOs, chief human resource officers, diversity officers, managers, I welcome you all once again to this event. Global Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Benchmarks and Awards and Conference. It's almost 8th event that we are doing since 2018. And it's built around International Women's Day, which happens on the 8th March. But because of the month of Ramadan, we are doing it earlier. And by the way, today, there are at least 3 to 4 events taking place in Karachi. So the attention of the market is quite divided. Before talking about or giving you a little more context about the event, I would like to take a broader view about what is happening worldwide and how it is impacting the D&I in Pakistan. You can see an increased level of polarization. On one hand, there's a European bloc, which is very active on the concept of the stakeholder capitalism. Which is a departure from the traditional concept of the shareholder capitalism. In the shareholder capitalism, you primarily look after the investors and the owners by selling product and the services. But in a stakeholder capitalism, you take care of the wider community. You take into account the aspirations of the other stakeholders, your customers, your public, the employees, the people in the value chain, internal employees, external employees, vendors. So last week, I received a couple of messages from the people, and I want to be very open in my communication, that US companies are dumping their programs on the D&I. For me, it was not a surprise, and I think it's now a moment for the companies and for the business leader to decide. Do we exist to just sell the products, or do we have a mission-driven, a purpose-driven leadership which truly inspires, connects our reason for survival with a reason of survival of the planet and the community that we serve. So in this context, I think we need to be guided more by our inner-centric approach because of the reason that the consequences, I'm not talking now from the global perspective, I'm talking from the national perspective, the consequences of ignoring 50% of your population, which is women, is very high. The consequences of ignoring 64% of the youth are very high. The consequences of ignoring 15% of the population which has at least one form of the disability are very high. The consequences of the people with a different ethnic, religious, and racial background representing 77 dialects and languages in Pakistan are very high. So we need to take into account the aspirations of the complete society and move forward with a more purpose-led, move with more courage, conviction, resilience, and commitment, and demonstrate to the world that we do not follow just the trends, we follow our inner-centric and purpose-driven leadership. And that's, I think, the choice with the CEOs, either to surrender in front of what is happening around, because it's not happening in every part of the world. It's just the one area. The rest of the world, you look at, as I said, the European Union has come up with a very, I would say, assertive regulation, European Sustainability Reporting Standards, containing 32 active metrics on the social aspect. In Pakistan, with the activism demonstrated by Security Exchange Commission of Pakistan, at least 14 metrics under the umbrella of S. So the choice with the companies is now not to see it just from the tick box perspective, from the compliance perspective, but take it as a major step to transform their organization. So we are determined to take it forward with the same spirit, and we encourage all the organization, the purpose-led organization, to move forward and act as a catalyst in the society. This is a time now for a more transparent communication as how the D&I is not just a look good strategy. There's a real business impact, and that has to be measured in more tangible terms. That is where the global diversity, equity, and inclusion standards come. A truly global standard which has been developed by 112 global experts around the world. So true representation of the, entire universe. I've personally been part of the expert panelists who contributed toward this standard's development. The standard complements at least 6 sustainable development goals. Gender equality, removing the inequities in the society, education, decent work, industrial innovation, peace, partnership, and the collaboration. 6 SDGs being driven by their global standard, having 15 different categories, 275 benchmarks, an explicit mechanism to determine for the organization where do they stand and where do they want to go with respect to the D&I. The 15 categories, those are part of the GDEIB standard process, provide an excellent way to connect the dots between the organization strategy, the accountability mechanism, and the overall structure, connecting with the people management side, hiring, training, development, advancing people, taking care of the business side in the form of the diverse product services, the stakeholders engagement, corporate communication, ethical and responsible resourcing, and at the end, in the center, the bridging component comprising of the formal assessment process to determine is there a real impact, the major impact on the bottom line, has it driven the sustainability, what are the positive desired and undesired learning, and how do we communicate to all the stakeholders on account of being a purpose-driven organization. So the complete framework is structured in a way that there are 28 different dimensions of the standards. Gender is one of the predominant dimensions, and as such, there are other dimensions like the age, religion, caste, nationalities, and few others. 15 categories are basically 28 dimensions. They are integrated together in a way that if an organization wants to understand where does it stand, it has a progressive mechanism to see its maturity level, starting from the lowest level, which is called the inactive, where nothing is happening in the organization, the proactive level, where the organization wants to see that something is happening on the D&I, but it's primarily to meet the regulatory requirements. The organization does not see the value in the D&I. The third stage, which is called the proactive, where the organization go beyond the regulatory compliance and sees value in doing the D&I, but it doesn't have the results so far. So after a couple of years, when they see the results, they go to the progressive stage, and the final one is the best practice in the market. So this is the framework which is used to graduate the performance, measure the performance of the organization. And interestingly, despite all kind of the polarization in the world, we have witnessed this year 15% increase in the number of the categories that is being used by the organization within Pakistan. The headcount of the women, the headcount of the, thank you so much, and it's all your contribution. So the headcount of the organization remains same, approximately 70 organizations practicing the standard, 46 actively did this year, and we could see a 15% increase over there. Interestingly, all the sectors are represented over here, predominantly the financial sector. And in order to do this, perform this process, we manage the overall value creation chain from a logistical perspective, but we actively rely on the jury. Our active jury members, we have representation from every region in the world. And to just ensure that our conversation, our assessment is also localized, we have a representation from Pakistan. Thank you so much, Muniza Bhatt, for your active contribution in this regard. We are grateful to you for your active contribution. Now, I think for us, the gender diversity, when we see it from the overall quantitative terms, on an average, what we have seen in these companies, as I said, the diversity is not all about the gender diversity, but gender diversity is one of the key components. So in the organization that associate with us, approximately 70 organizations, we could find a headcount ranging from 17 up to 21% on an aggregate scale at 4 levels: the board, C-suite, management, and the non-management. But I think in the second half, we have a presentation by the PICG. So Shafaq is going to give us a better view about the market, what is the current state of affairs. So other than that, we also have the honor of doing something different on the women leadership for board, being led by inspiring members of the steering committee who are going to have a separate panel discussion. And in that regard, we just compiled 4 directories. So by now, we have approximately 130 very capable women with us from high potential perspective. This year, we have created an e-portal where the corporate secretaries would be given opportunity without any financial consideration. So far, we are doing it as a corporate social responsibility. So Musharraf, Hai, Zafar Khan, Maliha, Muniza, Jahan, thank you so much, Fatma also, Saad Amanullah, for the wonderful role. We are in a position to have a very consistent and a comparable structure to look at the talent which is needed by the market for the leadership position. My final thoughts going forward. We are going to take forward this movement in a more assertive way. As I mentioned about the regulations, in SCCP, the ESG guideline, the voluntary disclosure that we have, there are at least 14 S metrics. The ESRS, European Sustainability Reporting Standards, has 32 metrics on the ESG side. So we would like to facilitate the market in a way that they do not see it as a more of a wearing the seat belt because of some fine, but because there's a value in wearing the seat belt. So in that context, not only we will promote education, facilitation, but going forward, we will consider the possibility of recognizing the organizations on account of these, the ESG metrics. Why? Why we want to do it? Today, you hear more about the sustainability. You hear more about the ESG. And I would say you would agree with me that ESG is traditionally skewed toward the environment side, and I have a different view. Degrading the environment, producing the carbon, is a symptom. It's not a cause. The cause is the irresponsible human behavior. So we have to focus more on the human side. We have to focus more on the human governance side. For the reason, if you look back 4 years, 5 years ago, the complete disruption in the business which was caused in this world was not because of the environment. It was because of the disruption in the supply chain of the human being. So how we can take care of the physical and the mental and health and the well-being of the people so that we continue to operate successfully. Currently, if you look at the average tenure of the CEO in 500 Fortune companies, in the last 10 years, or since 2017, it has reduced by 34%. Now, that reduction is not triggered by the environment. That reduction in the tenure is not driven by the lack of technical competency. That reduction stems from the irresponsible behavior, scandals, embezzlement, fraud, forgery, sexual harassment. So the final point is that a truly human-led, CEO-led, human-centric approach is the antidote and solution to the problem that we have in the society, and it's a recipe for success. Thank you so much for passionate listening. That's all from my side. We are very glad to have a diverse and inclusive perspective. Once again, thanks.